This is Jason Eady, and this is Real Life, Real Music.
Real Life, Real Music Radio with your host, Kyle Hutton.
Jason.
This kind of feels like the Opry.
Oh, well, I'm going to take that as a huge compliment before you take it back. We're going to talk about the Opry tonight for sure. And here's the funny thing while you're tuning. I think everybody on our crew could tell you that normally what I do for the first song is I just kick it over to the artist and say, hey, man, you decide what song you want to play first tonight. But with you, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, all right.
Because, and I'm going to try to refrain from leading you too hard tonight because I do want to provide some room for creative inspiration. But I do want to ask, just because it just gets me in the mood for Jason Eady, is if you would play the song Jackson and maybe tell us a little bit about that one. But man, let's take these people right to the heart of it.
All right, cool. No, I love this. This is. I don't have to think about anything at all. I can just I can just let you lead the show, man. That's great. Okay, here's a little song. So I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, just a little town just south of Jackson. And I wrote this song, and over the years, everybody's asked me. It's kind of one of those cryptic songs, and everybody thinks there's this hidden message in it, and they always ask me, why, what is it? What is this song about? And at the end of the day, there was this festival in Jackson that booked us for 2 years in a row, and we took the whole band. We went all the way over there. We got set up on stage both years, set up on stage, completely ready to go. And as soon as we got ready to start playing, this storm rolled in that canceled the festival both times, like during our set. And so that's where this song came from. But I never told that story, so everybody wants to know what the hidden deep message is in this song, and that's it. There was a storm that rolled in 2 years in a row, but this is called Back to Jackson. God don't make me go back to Jackson. Sky turns black every time I do. Heaven don't lie the way I'm living. God don't make me go back to Jackson. Sky turns black every time I do. Straight on the side of the highway, he got nothing left to lose. Soon he's going home to Jesus. God don't make me go back to Jackson. The sky turns black every time I do. Well, I was baptized in a muddy water. My soul broken like a weathered shoe. Can't you hear that choir singing? God don't make me go back to Jackson. The sky turns black every time I do. Well, I hopped a train just south of Memphis. I found myself in Baton Rouge. Well, I got out with my soul still burning. God don't make me go back to Jackson. The sky turns black every time I do. Said God don't make me go back to Jackson. The sky turns black every time I do. All right, thank you. All right, so maybe there's a little bit more to it than this thing. I realized that I was singing. Yeah, I guess there is a little bit more to it.
Oh man, I love that song. And the funny thing is, one of the things I love about Jason is the unmistakable guitar playing. And any of you that have been following him know what I'm talking about, right? And my coffee over here while he was doing that thumping thing, it's like, you know how when you got a liquid and it's just from the middle, it's going. I'm looking over here. I'm like,
I'm gonna see if I can get it to spill over the side for us.
I love it. Okay, so I want to fast forward to what was the latest studio project that you put out, which by the way, I love that project. I'm going to ask you about a bunch of songs on it tonight, but I think one of the first songs that I heard off the record called "To the Passage of Time" was one that you had written, and I don't remember where I got to hear it, whether it was at Music Fest or when our paths crossed somehow, but that was one of the songs that you wrote, I think just trying to make some sense of and sum up some of the things you were feeling about the time off during the pandemic and just everything that was going on, called Back to Normal.
Yeah.
I wonder if you'd tell us about that song and play it for
Yeah,
us.
that one, it's exactly what it was. I wrote it in June of 2020, and it was just this crazy time. I mean, it was for everybody, but it was, we'd been off for 3 months, and I hadn't been off for 3 months in 20 years. I mean, it just, I hadn't been off for 3 days in 20 years, much less 3 months. So I was just kind of figuring out what we were going to do, and it was a crazy time for musicians. For us, it was this whole weird time because we just watched. I mean, when that pandemic started, I had the whole rest of 2020 booked solid, and then every day it's like, here goes another week of your life, another week and another week. It's just every day, the whole year just kind of fell apart, and so you're just watching that and then watching everything around you, and just trying to figure out how to get through it. And so I wrote this song called Back to Normal, and just kind of thinking, I'm writing this for the end of this summer when it gets back to normal, In 3 months when it's back to normal, it'll be great. And then 2 years later, I was still singing the same song. But one of my favorite stories about this song is my daughter was home. She was a senior in college when the pandemic started, and she left for spring break. She left, she was in school in Washington, D.C., and she left and she went down to Miami, did the spring break thing, and just took a backpack. And that was it. And got down to Miami, and they shut everything down while she was on spring break, and so she couldn't go back to her dorm. They closed the school, and so she came home. So instead of living out her senior year in college, she moved back in with her parents, which is tough. And so her college graduation was over Zoom in our living room, and she just kind of got swept up in that, So one day during that, she was home, and I was upstairs. I was writing this song, and she said, "Can I help?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love that." And so she sat down, and so we wrote this one together. So I have a co-write with my daughter on this song, and she's been asking me where her royalties are. And then I show her her college tuition bills, and I say, there they are. Well, back in the days before it all started, I was going my way like I'd always done. Now I'm looking around for my dearly departed, wandering these streets like I'm all alone. What are we doing? Are we getting back to normal? Find ourselves out in the world again. What are we doing? Are we getting back to normal? And we find we're somewhere we ain't ever been. I always believed the world had an answer, but now I think that I've been thinking all wrong. The questions I had, well, I never really asked them. Truth is, I don't wanna know after all. What are we doing? Are we getting back to normal? And we find ourselves out in the world again. What are we doing? Are we getting back to normal? And we find we're somewhere we ain't ever been. We believe what we want to. We see the photo in the frame, but all those things that we hold on to can't never be the same. Well, every day is a brand new beginning. Ain't that what all the sages say? So every night that's a brand new ending. Tomorrow can't be like yesterday. What are we doing? Are we getting back to normal? And we find ourselves out in the world again. What are we doing? Are we getting back to normal? And we find we're somewhere we ain't ever been. Yeah, we find we're somewhere we ain't ever been. Yeah, we find we're somewhere we ain't ever been. All right, thank you.
Yeah. You know, because I'm a fan, you know, I find myself sitting over here thinking about trying to sing harmony with you on a chorus, and then all I see in my head is Courtney Patton's face going, "Don't do it." How's your wife doing?
She's good. She's good. She broke her hand a couple weeks ago, and
I saw that.
Yeah, and so she can't play guitar for 2 months, and other than that, she's good. But so I have a lot of downtime this spring, so I've been out being her guitar player. And
of course you have.
Yeah, and I've seen that look you just made. I've seen that a lot.
Don't stop.
The one where she went, no, don't do that.
Well, that's good. That's good. So for those of you that don't know, or maybe listening online and don't know, Jason Eady and Courtney Patton. If you don't know Courtney Patton, make sure and check her out. You know, one of the videos, and I'm just going to go ahead and ask you about it. One of the videos that I pulled up as I was getting ready for our conversation this week, and I hadn't seen it since the end of the year when it happened, and that was her joining you on stage at the Grand Ole Opry when you stepped into that circle and got to sing your songs. Man, there's only a handful of people in the world that get to do that. So for those of us that haven't, why don't you tell us a little bit about that day and that night when you got to sing?
It's unbelievable. It's really hard to describe. It's one of the hardest things to describe, you know, and I had given up on it. I mean, I've been doing this 20 years full time, you know, and I just thought that was something that wasn't going to happen. So I got the call and you show up, and you know, I told Courtney that morning, talking about leading up to it, there's very few days in your life where there's a marker in time. You know, most things you kind of look back on later and you go, it was cool that I got from here to here, you know, but it took a lot of, there's no line, you know, it just kind of happens over time. But that one was one of those, like, there's before you play the Opry and there's after you play, you know what I mean? There's not like a status thing or anything, but just in my like, it's just such a marker in your life, you know. And so I was very aware of the moment, you know, and so got there for sound check, and that was incredible. You know, you walk out sound check and there it is. There's the stage, you know, and you walk up and I'm treating it like normal sound check. I'm putting my stuff on the ground, and then all of a sudden I realize I was in the circle, you know, and the circle felt different. It just feels different. If you don't know, the circle is, they took a piece of the Ryman Auditorium when they moved to their new location 20 or 30 years ago, and they cut out the part where everybody has stood in front of the microphone at the Ryman, and they brought it. So you're standing on the same piece of wood that everybody stood on, you know. So there's just this little sacred piece of wood in the middle. And that feeling that's heavy, you know. He's standing there, and so it was great. It was an amazing experience, and just it couldn't have gone better. And the night was great, and the people at the Opry were fantastic, and everybody makes you feel so welcome. And one of my favorite stories about that night was I wasn't nervous. I was more nervous when they told me I was going to do it than the actual day of. You know, I had kind of processed it. And so the day of, and Connie Smith was on before me, and which is unbelievable. And so Connie Smith was playing, and so they called us over, you know, said, go side stage, you're up next. And I might have started getting nervous about that point, you know, like that's the point where maybe it was starting to get a little nervous. And right about that time, I get this tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and he goes, Jason Eady? And I said, yeah. I turned around, it was the lead singer, one of the, you know, Joe Bonsall from the Oak Ridge Boys. And he goes, I'm such a big fan. I have all your records. And I just you know, went, whoa, what is happening here? And so I'd start talking to the Oak Ridge Boys, and I'm just hanging out with the Oak Ridge Boys side stage, and I forgot all about that and then it got so caught up in the conversation that somebody had to come over and go, hey, you're on. You're up, you know, it's time. And so the Oak Ridge Boys kept me from being nervous at the Opry, so which was really cool. Which was also cool. I said this on the stage that night, but full circle, they were. That was the first concert I ever saw in my life, was the Oak Ridge Boys in Jackson, Mississippi, back in '82, I think, when Elvira was the huge hit. Yeah, you know? Yeah. And I went. My parents took me. That's what I wanted for my birthday that year, and they took me. And then so they were standing side stage. It was just it was a perfect moment. It couldn't have been better. Yeah.
Okay, so to pay respect to your appearance on the Opry, then, would you play Elvira for us? No, I'm kidding. Giddy up, papa.
Only if you'll do that part.
Yeah. No. So, no, would you pick one of the songs that you played on the stage at the Opry that night and play it for us here at the Do-Si-Do?
Sure. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to see if I can do this. I haven't played this since that night. That's the first time I've played it since then. But this is a song Drew Kennedy and I wrote, and this was intimidating. There, I played 2 songs with their house band, which is that house band is unbelievable. I mean, I had heard that, but it really is unbelievable. They call you like 2 days before the show and say, what songs are you doing? And you send them. You tell them, and they go find the record, and then you're basically playing to a karaoke machine of yourself. Like it is perfect. It's perfect. So I got out. So that was unbelievable to play 2 songs with them, and then I played this one, and so it was just me up there on that stage by myself. And but this is a song that Drew Kennedy and I wrote called French Summer Sun. Heard the quiet buzzing of a fly. For a second he wasn't quite sure what it was, till it tickled his face and he opened his eyes on a beach in the French summer sun. With sulfur in the air and the smell of something worse, he leaned up on his elbow and looked around, wiped some blood from his face and saw his buddy James mangled and torn apart on the ground. Well, the medics got to him, and he thanked God they did. He spent 27 days in a field hospital before making the slow trip home to the States, minus one leg, which still seemed impossible. Got a job sorting mail at the Birmingham post office, 5 days a week, enough pay to get by. He met a beautiful girl through a mutual friend. 11 months later, that girl was his wife. nightmares were often and so vivid and real. He'd wake up screaming a few times a week. She was patient and kind and stayed by his side. And in time he found a more restful sleep. And by the next year they had him a son who got drafted when he turned 18. He went off to fight, but he came back whole, met my mom, and they had me. And I come from a long line of soldiers whose blood's still flowing through me. They fought in fields and foreign lands, so I could be who I wanted to be. Well, I broke the streak and I went to college instead of Kabul or Kuwait. Earned my degree and I got hired to teach Shakespeare and Wordsworth and Yeats at a decent-sized high school outside of Atlanta. I did the best that I could. Yeah, that's heady stuff for kids that age, but all in all, I think I did some good. And I come from a long line of soldiers whose blood's still flowing through me. They fought in fields and foreign lands, so I could be who I wanted to be. They heard the quiet buzzing of a fly. For a second he wasn't quite sure what it was, till it tickled his face and he opened his eyes, and then he died there in that French summer sun. And that girl he would have met sorting mail back in Birmingham, she met a lawyer and they fell in love. So their story ends before it began, on that beach in the French summer sun. That child she had, well, that wasn't my dad. I wasn't ever his son. So my story ends before it began, on that beach in the French summer sun. And I come from a long line of soldiers whose blood flowed into the sea. War took more than just one life. It took him and his son and me.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks. I had them dancing in the aisles with that one.
You know, that's always the mark of what I consider to be a great country songwriter, is when they're playing a sad song and they get to the last verse and it goes from sad to just unbearable.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah, thanks. You thought that was sad. Watch this.
Yeah, watch this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was trying to remember back, Jason, to when I first met you, and I think the first time I ever remember meeting you was at a house. It was in somebody's backyard, and Walt Wilkins was there, and I think that was the first time I ever got to sit down and meet you and have a conversation with you. And I think, you know, you had already put out your first record, I think maybe AM Country was going to come out. I don't remember exactly where we were, but it wasn't long after that I got a hold of the record Daylight and Dark, which, man, that record has so many great songs on it that I'm sure that you still that you still play every night, and you can pick one you want, or you can play the one I want, which is my favorite on the record is Lonesome Down and Out.
Oh yeah, okay, I can do that.
Tell me, tell us about that record. Tell us about the song.
I love that record, and so that one was a really interesting one for me because I had my first 3 records were very. I was still trying to figure out who I was as a songwriter, so I was trying lots of different things, and it was a lot of. I'm proud of the songs on those first 3 records, but I don't think the albums were not cohesive. It was just kind of, I was still trying to figure it out, and so then I decided I was going to go back to my roots, and I made this AM Country Heaven record, and it was intentionally to go and make just a traditional throwback country album, and this was at the height of nobody was doing that, It was the height of bro country and all that stuff, and I just said, man, I just want to do it. I just want to do it because the first 3 I thought maybe I'll get some kind of radio, maybe something will happen, and then by that point I went, that's not going to happen. So what do I have to lose, right? So I just made this country record, and it was a very deliberate thing to make a statement about that, and then I had to follow that up, and so I did. So Daylight and Dark was the follow-up to that, and I like it better. I feel like I kind of settled in on Daylight and Dark. I feel like it was more of a merger of what I actually do, merged with the idea of AM Country Heaven. It was still a very traditional country record, but it was more of me in it. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, I'm really proud of that record. I love it, and this song in particular has a really great story. I don't know if you know this or not, but Courtney and I we'd known each other for a long time, and we'd been friends as songwriters and in the scene for a long time. I'd known her, and then she kind of disappeared for a while. She went and raised kids and did the great mom thing, and then she got divorced, and so, and I hadn't seen her in a long time, and we kind of reconnected, and so we got together to write a song, and so I went over, and I got over there, and we wrote this song. This is what we wrote on our very first attempt at writing a song, and we didn't know it at the time, but it turned out to be our first date, and so we wrote the song, and we connected, and we just said, I said, do you want to go on the road this weekend? Like, I've got shows, you want to go? And she said, yeah, and we've been together ever since. That was
wow, that's cool.
11 years ago now, yeah. This is the song we wrote that night. I don't know if I said that or not. Well, I started running after the stay-in failed to work. I gotten used to living a little heartbroken, hurt. Might seem reckless, 'cause I'm living a little loud, when the truth is I'm just lonesome, down and out. When I wake up with an aching feeling I cannot hide, I start shaking, I'm just breaking down inside. Well, just don't ask me, 'cause I won't tell you I'm much too proud, when the truth is I'm just lonesome, down and out. Well, I try to convince myself that I can't feel pain, soak it up with whiskey, then I walk out in the rain. Stumble down the street while I scream and shout, when the truth is is I'm just lonesome, down and out. Well, I'm standing on a mountain, one I built with guilt and shame, looking out on the messes I've made. I wish that I could go back down, say I'm sorry without a doubt, when the truth is I'm just lonesome, down and out. Well, I try to convince myself that I can't feel pain, soak it up with whiskey, then I walk out in the rain. Stumble down the street while I scream and shout, when the truth is I'm just lonesome, down and out. Stumble down the street while I scream and shout, when the truth is I'm just lonesome, down and out. All right, thank you.
Yeah. Man, I love that song. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, like, we're going to talk about kind of some of your influences vocally and stuff in a few minutes, but I want to ask you about what I consider to be kind of one of the signature things about Jason Eady, and that's that thing you're doing with your thumb and your palm over there on the bass notes of that guitar. Like, where did you pick that up? Like, how did that become part of the rhythmic way that you play?
There was an old, the guy I took guitar lessons from the whole time I was a teenager in Mississippi. He was an old blues man named J.C. Cannon, and he taught me how to do it. He just, my dad made me go take lessons from this guy because I fought him on it because I didn't want to be a blues player, you know, and this is an old blues guy, and I said, I want to play country music, and my dad was right, as he always is, you know, and so he said, he goes, just go check it out. And I went over there, and yeah, the guy just taught me, that was the first thing that he taught me, when that Delta blues style is, the first song I was, he goes, show me what you got, and I was playing, and he took the pick out of my hand, into the first song, and he takes it, he throws it in the yard. And he just sat there, and I was like, okay, lesson, here we go. And then he said, you got a whole band right here. He goes, this is your drummer, this is your bass player, this is your rhythm player. Like, you got a whole thing. You can, you know. And so that's how he taught me, this is your drummer, this is your bass, and you got to think about all these things, and you got, use them all separately. And so, I feel really lucky that I came up playing that way. You know, if you go, I love it over here because I can get to, it seems like I created this thing, you know, but if you go to Clarksdale, Mississippi and go where they play Delta blues, that's the way that that's just what they do. Yeah, it's like, it's the way those Delta guys play. And if you go to Clarksdale and sit in just some random restaurant, you know, at 4 p.m, there's some guy that does it way better than I do it. You know, I mean, it's a real thing over there. But I think the only thing I did was took it and figured out how to make it work with country music, you know. So that was maybe a little twist on it, but but I don't know how to play with a pick. People sometimes we're in jams and stuff, and somebody will hand me a pick, and
you throw it in the yard.
Yeah, I do eventually, but sometimes I'll be just feeling good enough. I'm like, let's see if I can do this, and it just sounds like I've been playing for a week. I mean, it is the worst.
Okay, so maybe for fun, for a little Real Life Real Music exclusive here with the band. Okay, so can you start with the rhythm, then add the bass, and then add, like, let us see how this thing comes together. Yeah. Just for fun here. Okay,
this is a great experiment, because normally I've had a lot of people ask me over the years to show them how I do it. Backstage or after the show or whatever, people come up and ask me, and as soon as I start thinking about it, I can't do it. It's a thing. But no, it's, so you got, so if that's your all right. So all I'm doing is just bass notes, top 2 strings.
But do you have to be from Mississippi to make it sound like that? I mean, that's...
You got to really pluck it. You know,
Yeah.
you got to go for it. And then you just... you just add these strings in, you just add these bottom ones in.
All right, now you got to break it back down for us. Oh, wait.
So basically, what I think of myself, I mean, if we're gonna get into how the sausage is made here, I think of myself more as a bass player than anything.
Okay.
I'm really thinking bass notes the whole time. And then this is kind of just, this down here is just kind of doing the rest of it, you know. But
The sparkly.
yeah, but if you really pay attention when I play, most of my movement is on the top two strings. Like when I go watch bands, I'm studying the bass player more than anybody.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, is everybody having a good time tonight? Are y'all doing okay out there? Okay. We need to do a little this is a little housekeeping thing real fast, but I need a liner to kick off the radio program. So if you'll say, this is Jason Eady, and this is Real Life, Real Music. And then I need you guys to just go absolutely nuts, okay? For about 4 minutes, and then I'm gonna cut. No, I'm just kidding. I'll go like this when we've got enough, okay?
All right. This is Jason Eady, and this is Real Life, Real Music.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Our new station in Middle Tennessee thanks you very much for that warm Texas welcome. By the way, I think I told you earlier, but the radio part of what we do is edited. We're going to take tonight, we'll take the basically an hour's worth of tonight and put it in the program that we ship off. But our video podcast is unedited, okay? So that just means if, Jason drops any F-bombs or whatever, we can leave them in the video podcast.
Okay.
And y'all can watch those again. Or Jason, interesting things like Jason tuning or whatever, and you want to see that again, it'll be on the video podcast. So you can go to realliferealmusic.com and click through to the YouTube page. And we've been doing that for over a year now, so there's 50-something episodes like this. So I get, emails, people saying they binge them, they like to sit and watch. Do what? Oh, Courtney Patton. Go watch his wife. She's better looking and sings a little better.
Yes, both of those things, yes.
You can go watch her episode. Yeah, for sure. All right, so I've been leading you all over the place. You pick one you want to play for us.
All right.
Okay, well, tell us about that one. If you're going to play the request, I think I just heard. Because, man, what a great song.
I wasn't. I will later.
Okay, you play that one later.
But I want to do this real quick. Since we're too on topic here, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a song. I just recorded a new record, just finished it up. Just got the masters back today. It's done now as of today. So this is going to be the title track to it, and this is a record I've been wanting to make for a long time. The same way I made that AM Country is intentionally making a country record. I've also intentionally wanted to make something more on the bluesy, swampy side of where I grew up in Mississippi, and I've been wanting to do that my whole life, and I just finally pulled the trigger on it this year and went in and did it with the band of Heathens is the band, and Gordy Quist produced the record, and it was an unbelievable experience, and the way we recorded it, you were there. We did it live. I mean, we just did it live. We didn't want any kind of tricks or anything. We just go, hit record, and there we went. And so anyway, so it's got this feel to it. But this is the first song that's going to be on the record. It's the first song we're going to put out here in a couple months, and it's going to be the title track. It's called Mississippi. The record's going to be called Mississippi. This song's called Way Down in Mississippi. And it kind of explains the whole thing. It explains my love of all these different kind of music and how I ended up with this record that I'm about to make. And it also, a lifelong dream of mine is that J.C. Cannon, the guy that taught me how to play guitar. I've been wanting to get him in a song my whole life, and I finally got him in a song. So,
awesome.
Yeah. Went by and saw him over Christmas. Courtney and I went, and he's 94 years old now. Wow. And we went and sat down in his living room, and I got to play him this song, and it was really one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do. So this is called Way Down in Mississippi. Way down in Mississippi, I got the music in my bones. I'll tell you there if you wanna come with me. I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna go back home. Mama and Daddy always had something going, whether we was home or driving around. The very first thing and I remember singing along to the country sound. Way down in Mississippi, I got the music in my bones. I'll tell you there if you wanna come with me. I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna go back home. We went to church with jumping out, shouting, singing hallelujah and clapping hands. I joined in with that choir singing, one day we're gonna join that angel band. Way down in Mississippi, I got the music in my bones. I'll tell you there if you wanna come with me. I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna go back home. Tuesday nights we'd all get together, singing Ralph Stanley and Bill Monroe. I still love that bluegrass pig and learned to sing High Lonesome way down low. Way down in Mississippi, I got the music in my bones. I'll tell you there if you wanna come with me. I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna go back home. Well, I grew up and I started playing, and it ain't Mississippi without the blues. Everything changed on that old front porch when J.C. Cannon taught me that groove. Way down in Mississippi, I got the music in my bones. I'll tell you there if you wanna come with me. I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna go back home. After a while I made my way to Texas. I learned how the poets did it their own way, but I wouldn't be here making this music if it weren't for the sound of my younger days. Way down in Mississippi, I got the music in my bones. I'll take you there if you wanna come with me. I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna go back home. Way down in Mississippi, I got the music in my bones. I'll take you there if you wanna come with me. I'm gonna go back home. 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 All right, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I need to ask Jason a question in secret real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. How many of y'all have to go to work early tomorrow morning? How many of you, that's okay, you don't mind going to work a little tired tomorrow morning? Okay, here's the question. Jason and I, we had the opportunity, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Do-Si-Do has multiple locations. They've got the Big Barn location. They've got a coffee shop over in Alden Bridge, and then they've got what they call the Do-Si-Do Breakfast and Barbecue and Whiskey Bar over on Research Forest. Well, there is a secret. Turn off the cameras. I'm just kidding. There's a speakeasy at the Do-Si-Do Whiskey Bar. okay? And you got to go over by the bar and, you'll figure it out when you get there. So we got to go hang out there, and the owner of Do-Si-Do was with us, and he said, hey, Jason, if you and Kyle and the Road Med, if y'all want to come over for a drink after, if there's anybody that wants to come, we'll keep the bar open if y'all want to come over and like talk and have a couple of drinks or whatever after the show tonight. So I think Jason's game.
I'm 100% game. Yeah.
So I think what we're going to do after this, and we'll give out the password to the speakeasy at the merch table. You only have to spend $50 on Jason Eady merch. No, I'm kidding. No, here's the deal. I'm going to text, because he told me to text him. I'm going to text Steve from stage here and tell him that we and maybe a few of our friends are going to come over and hang out. So if you feel so inclined, then we'll visit a little bit more after the show.
I feel like there's that story of Willie Nelson in the 70s when he played something in Austin, and it was like a big festival, and right at the end, the crowd was so into it that he just said, I'm playing Floors after this, let's go down to Floors Country Store, and there was like this caravan all the way down I-35 to Floors Country Store. I feel like this may be a mini version of that.
This could be that. I mean, there's a stage, and we can get out a couple of acoustic guitars.
See what happens.
We'll have some fun.
I don't have to do anything tomorrow. I'm
Lacey,
off.
are y'all in? Okay, I know I got at least a few people coming. Okay, so maybe we'll go do that. Who needs sleep? All right, so Jason, that being said, I want to, first off, I did get the opportunity. We got the opportunity through our video production division of our company to be a part of Jason's making of his new record. And there's something special about putting the right musicians in a room and doing live takes. I mean, like the Beatles used to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it was a really, really cool thing, and you're going to love that record. I love the way you go into a recording process with that kind of intentionality. I want to make this kind of record because, man, that served you really well on AM Country Heaven when you decided, I'm going to make a traditional country record.
Yeah.
I want to play AM Country Heaven is one of my favorites. Will you play that one for us?
Sure, I'll play that one. Yeah.
Anybody else like that song? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I thought for sure when this song came out that if there was any hope ever left that I would play the Grand Ole Opry, this song would kill those hopes. I thought there's no way they'll ever ask me after this. But I feel like I wrote this in 2009. So I wrote it the week that Honky Tonk Badonkadonk was the #1 country song.
Wow.
And I hadn't listened to Top 40 radio because I got to Texas and there's all this great stuff over here, and I was not from here, so I got here and dove headfirst into it, and did the deep dive and did all the stuff, all the Texas guys, and really figured out how great that was. So I hadn't listened to Top 40 country in a long time, and I was driving down to Lukenbach one day, and I said, I'm going to see what's happening out there, and sure enough, it was when the Top 40 country countdown was on, and Honky Tonk Badonkadonk was the #1 song, and I thought, well, that's different, and so I recorded it. I'm a little hesitant to play it these days. I still think it's true as far as the radio goes, but it is not true as far as the state of music goes. There is some great country music that's come out in the last 5 years, like probably some of the best that's come out in a long, long time. There's a lot of people making some really great country music out there, and the genre is alive and well. It's just not on the radio. You got to go find it. But I still stand by it on the radio side of things. Well, they sing about Jesus, they sing about Jones, and they sing of American pride. But they're all too damn clean, polished like stones, and they won't sing about cheating or lies. Well, I remember the days when the singers just sang and left it all in the stories they tell. These days we're in AM country heaven and FM country hell. Well, I miss the days when the women were ugly and the men were all 40 years old. 'Cause you had to say something for people to listen. Now they just do what they're told. Well, it's all about idols, pretty blonde hair, and how many trucks you can sell. Out here in AM country heaven and FM country hell. Well, out on these back roads, only real truth that I know don't cross a radio band. It cuts through the static like a chill in the air. It fades out, then it comes back again. Well, I don't mean to sound jaded, 'cause I know there's plenty of young singers who aren't up for sale. But they're all stuck in AM country heaven and FM country hell. Well, I knew it was over the day that I overheard a record executive cry. Keep it all simple, don't get offensive, and don't play songs in 3/4 time. Well, Mr. Record Man, I hope you don't take offense, but you're a hell of a joke, I can tell. You're the reason we're in AM country heaven and FM country hell. You're the reason we're in AM country heaven and FM country hell. All right, thanks.
Yeah. I love that song. Well, I told y'all, I've got to have my Grand Ole Opry. I call it my Porter Wagner moment without the sequins, you know. And thank my sponsors one more time, because we could not have done this for 15 years and been able to go behind the lives and the songs of artists like Jason and keep this thing going. And so first off, I want to recognize my friends over at Chicago Title Houston. They've been our major, our premier marquee sponsor for the last 2 years, and they're those people that work behind the scenes on the real estate transactions. It's one of those things that you have to have when you have a transaction. And I always say, for those things that you have to have and spend money on in life, do business with people that love the same things you do and put money back into the things that you love. And Chicago Title Houston does that. Thank you for what you do for us, for what you've done for me and my real estate transactions. We appreciate you guys. And then, Fred Caldwell and all the people over at Caldwell Communities, the Highlands down south in Spring, Chambers Creek, which is a 55 and up community in Willis. Make sure that you check them out. Yeah, and we've got representatives here that represent those communities. Thank you for everything you guys do to make nights like tonight possible. And then last but not least, do y'all remember the old commercials where the guy goes, he says, and not only am I the president of the Hair Club for Men, but I'm a client, The Griffin Realty Group has sponsored us for 3 years, and last year I became a client of theirs. And man, they helped us navigate a really weird sell market, got us in under the wire, got us top dollar for our house. If you want to know what your house is worth, or you're looking for property, or you're looking to sell your home, again, do business with people that support the things you love in your community. Griffin Realty Group, thank you for everything you do to make nights like tonight possible. We appreciate you. Okay, that being said, I'm getting text from the producer of the show. Remind you guys to check out realliferealmusic.com. Follow us on socials so you can get updates on like when the Jason show is going to air on our radio stations and when the video podcast is going to be released. Just look up Real Life Real Music on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and you'll find it. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's
you did great. That was
Thanks,
great.
man.
Yeah.
I try to remember it all, and I think I got it. So I want to ask you about my favorite song on your last studio project, and that is a song called Gainesville.
Yeah.
It's my favorite song.
Thanks. Thank you. I love that song. Nobody ever asked for it, so I appreciate you asking for it.
Hey, you're welcome. You're going to love it. I promise. It's just a great song. You know, as a songwriter, like what part of what I'm drawn to are those songs that they take a fresh approach at timeless truth. And I feel like you package some little really good morsels of truth in this song.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
To me, the song was about traveling, and it was kind of like the end of a run. I do really long tours, you know. I take time off, and then I go out for 3 or 4 months at a time, you know. And when I'm at the end of those runs, it can be exhausting, and your head's spinning, and you're thinking back over everything you just did, and did I do this right? Did I, you know, what went right? What went wrong? There's just a million, you know, your head's just scattered, and so it's kind of that end of tour feeling. And do I even, you know, what do I have any gas left in the tank? And all these, there's just a million things that are going through your head. It's like it's the highest of the high and the lowest of low all at the same time, you know. So I wrote this because Gainesville is kind of the first thing you get to when you're coming back into Texas. So it was kind of symbolic of getting back home and getting near the end, you know. But I also intentionally didn't say any of those things in the song because I like the idea that it can be whatever anybody wants it to be, you know, for them. But my favorite story about this song was when we recorded it. If you listen to it on the album, it's just 2 guitars. It's 2 acoustic guitars and 2 singers. And the way that happened was the way I did this last record with Gordy Quist too, the one he's talking about, and we did it exactly the same way, just live in the studio. And we don't send the songs to the band beforehand. They don't get to work them up. They don't get to have ideas. We sit down that day and we say, "Here's the song," and then we spend a few minutes kind of coming up with how it's going to feel, and then we do it real fast so it feels good, you know. And so it was the night before. It was the end of night 1 in the studio, and everybody else had left, and Gordy and I were in there in the studio, and he goes, "Well, let's go over to Gainesville and let's see how it let's see like what we want to do with this song tomorrow." And so we sat down and we sat where all the stations, where all the mics were and everything. And Gordy grabbed a guitar and I had a guitar, and we sat and we started playing this song, and we realized at the end of it, the engineer, this great engineer, Jim Valentin, he's an unbelievable engineer, and he's kind of known for he's always recording, and we forgot that. And so we get done and he goes, "Got it." And that was it. And that was it. And we never went back and did anything else with it. That's the take that we took. And so we didn't even know we didn't know that was the version. We didn't know anything about it. We were just messing around trying to figure out what we were going to do with it. And we loved it so much that's the way we left it on the record. So. Well, I set out walking a long time ago. Set out looking for the answer. Set out looking for the show. You'd better believe I looked high and I looked low. but today I'm finally going home. And when I get back to Gainesville, I will sing a victory song. I have made a lot of turns, as many right as wrong. Well, I've had enough of this wandering life, so I'm going back to Gainesville. Ain't no change in my mind. Well, I can't count the miles I put underneath my feet, and every step I've taken has become a part of me. And I've crawled across the desert and I swam into the sea, but today I'm finally going home. And when I get back to Gainesville, I will sing a victory song. I have made a lot of turns, as many right as wrong. Well, I've had enough of this wandering life, so I'm going back to Gainesville. Ain't no change in my mind. Well, I have found freedom, and I have lost hope, and I have learned to question everything I think I know. And I've seen salvation, and I've sold my soul, but today I'm finally going home. And when I get back to Gainesville, I will sing a victory song. I have made a lot of turns, as many right as wrong. Well, I've had enough of this wandering life, so I'm going back to Gainesville. Ain't no change in my mind. Yeah, I've had enough of this wandering life, so I'm going back to Gainesville, and I mean it this time. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've kind of gone all over the place as far as from the old catalog. You've played us a song from the new record that's about to come out. But man, I saw you up in the green room taking some notes from a writing session.
Yeah.
That literally you just had, and so I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. Tell us about where you've been the last couple of days, and dare you give us a taste of...
Yeah, let's see how this goes. We'll see if this goes. This is the part you can edit out maybe if it doesn't go well. Courtney and I, Monday night and Tuesday night, we went up and spent a few days with our buddy Cody Jinks, and we stayed up at his place, and he's got this great place. He's got a guest house, and you just go, and he does our kind of writing, which is not, it's not the kind of writing appointment where you go, let's meet at 2:00 tomorrow in this room and we're giving ourselves 2 hours. It's y'all come up and hang out for 2 days and we're going to cook out and ride Jeeps, and like it's that kind of writing, which is way more my speed. So that's what we went up and did. And I go way back with Cody. We started together in 2005. We talked about it a lot these last couple of days. That it was both of our first gig ever, and I met him. I was going and doing open mics at this place called the White Elephant in Fort Worth, and Cody was the bartender when I was there, and he got offered this gig, and it was 4 hours every Tuesday night, and he said, I can't cover 4 hours. And he said, do you want to come do it with me? So we did it for 2 years. We did every Tuesday night at the Longhorn Saloon for 4 hours. And I used to say we had the biggest crowd we ever had was 10 people. And then I told him that not too long ago, and he goes, when did we ever have 10 people? So, yeah. So we wrote one. We wrote a couple, but I'm going to try this. This is a songwriter show, so this is not something I would normally do, but Yeah, let's see how this goes.
So let me just set the record straight for everybody. This song has not been alive for 24 hours yet, right?
Yeah, we wrote this about 23 hours ago. We wrote this song.
So
It's
hot off the press.
Not only has it never been played in front of an audience before, it's never been played ever. Like, I haven't even played it very much. So my eyes are so bad. I thought I was going to put this on the ground and it would work, but it's now I'm. Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, that's better. Well, I've had enough of mean spirits. Nope. I've had enough of mean spirits, taking me places I don't want to go. So I'm giving up on mean spirits. Gotta get back what's good for the soul. Well, I had to break up with a bottle. Started out fun, then it brought me down. And I had to ask myself some questions. And I had to get right with what I found. And I've had enough of mean spirits, taking me places I don't want to go. So I'm giving up on mean spirits. Gotta get back what's good for the soul. Well, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Find the ones you want to keep around. Well, others, they're like crabs in a bucket. Start to get up and they'll pull you down. And I've had enough of mean spirits, taking me places I don't want to go. So I'm giving up on mean spirits. Gotta get back what's good for the soul. Well, everybody's screaming at each other. Everybody's got something to say. Just turn off your TV, talk to your neighbor. Be the reason somebody has a better day. And I've had enough of mean spirits, taking me places I don't want to go. So I'm giving up on mean spirits. I gotta get back what's good for the soul. I gotta get back what's good for the soul. Yeah, all right. Yeah. We made it safe.
Man, that's what we call an exclusive right there. First time ever. Okay, So listen, I don't normally, text on my phone during the show, but this after party thing's really kind of blowing up here. Now, here's what I need to know, and this is no pressure at all, because Jason's a musician; he can find anywhere to drink. Okay, so is anybody interested in going over to the Do-Si-Do Whiskey Bar Speakeasy for any kind of cocktail afterwards? And the reason I'm asking is because we have to find out what kind of wait staff that we need over there. So if just show of hands if you think you might want to come hang out. Gabe, are you kind of looking at that? Can you see? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Call it 15, 20, something like that. 1,500 people. You'll need to call a temporary service and get more help. No, that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Have a little deal. So, have y'all had a good time tonight, everybody? Here's the deal. Because we are gonna have a little after party, we've got time for 2 more. Because I know there's people that want to come over and say hello at the merch table. They got kids that are being babysat or whatever, and they need to get home, and we want them to be able to come over and buy a T-shirt or a hat or a vinyl or something. But let's play 2 more.
Okay. Well, I did promise I would do this one, so yeah, you are. Yeah, I'll do this one. This one, I have a hard time with this one in these storyteller things because people want to know what it's about, and I learned a long time ago. This is one of those. It's just vague enough that everybody has their story. Everybody. It's one of those. Sometimes you turn the song loose and you lose control of what it means. You know what I mean? And this is one of those. And so it got to a point where when somebody asked me what it was about, and I'd tell them 9 times out of 10 there's this look of disappointment, and it's not for any reason other than just that's not what they thought it was. You know what I mean? So I've learned to just kind of let this song. This song is whatever you want it to be, and. Know it's been a while since I've seen you, girl. Funny we should meet up at a place like this. Sure, I've got a minute, but I can't stay long. I got someone waiting for me outside. Damn, you sure look just like I remember. It's too bad things turned out like they did. You got that same look in your eyes now. The last time I saw it, you were leaving. Has anybody ever told you you sure cry pretty? You stand tall and move with grace. Has anybody ever told you you sure cry pretty? Your tears fall, but don't leave a trace. Yeah, I thought about you for a little while. Yeah, I guess I still do now and then. If only this had been another time, girl, baby, it might just break me down. Has anybody ever told you you sure cry pretty? You stand tall and move with grace. Has anybody ever told you you sure cry pretty? Your tears fall, trace. It was time for me to go. I hope you understand. Sure that you'll be fine once I'm gone. I'm sure there's someone out there you can turn to. Just keep your head up, girl, you'll be fine. Has anybody ever told you you sure cry pretty? You stand tall and move with grace. Has anybody ever told you you sure cry pretty? Your tears fall, but don't leave a trace.
Yeah. Well, Jason, man, I know, you know, on behalf of me and everybody at Real Life Real Music and everybody that was here tonight, thanks for taking time out of your schedule to come hang out with us tonight and play your songs for us.
Well, I appreciate you having me. And like I said, I thank you. Yeah, like I said, I've taken this. I'm kind of taking this spring off and slowing down for a little bit until May. And I decided this spring I'm only doing things that I want to do. And so I've been wanting to do this. We've been talking about this for years, and it just schedules never worked out. And so I'm so glad that we're finally getting to make this work. So I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank all of you guys for being here tonight. And if you've enjoyed the format, you know, just look on the Do-Si-Do website for upcoming shows. Because again, you know, I started doing this show 15 years ago as like almost part of my continuing songwriting education. I mean, getting to sit right next to people that do this and are on the road of engaging in the craft has just been a huge part of my songwriting growth. And if you like the format, Radney Foster is going to be sitting right there in a week. And if you're a fan of Radney's, come hang out. Look at all the upcoming shows that we have booked and come to another Real Life Real Music show. So thank you guys for being here tonight. Well, you've got to pick one to end the night with. And then we'll meet y'all over at the merch table. And then Do-Si-Do Breakfast and Barbecue and Whiskey Bar. Okay, it's a long title, but it's at 2626. Just remember that. We're all 26 years old still. 2626 Research Forest. It's right behind the Sonic. So we'll sell some merch and then pack up and come over there and say hello.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I'll see y'all over there. I'll see you there and over there. All right. I love closing on this one. This is one from a couple records ago, and the record was called "I Travel On," and we kind of took more of a bluegrass approach on that record and called two of my favorite bluegrass guys, Rob Ikes and Trey Hensley, to join my road band on that record. And Rob and Trey just put a great record out last week, and it's one of my favorite things I've heard in a long time. And so I'm gonna close on this one. This is called "Lost My Mind in Carolina." Day after day, I kept feeling the same way, running up and down these roads till 8 a.m. But I woke up in Charleston with my head in the sand. Seemed like a good place as any to begin. Lost my mind in Carolina, lost myself along the way. Don't feel sorry for me, darling. That's the reason why I'm standing here today. Some would say that I've gone crazy, some would say that I'm just lazy. Me, I say I've finally given in. Giving in ain't giving up, surrendering is powerful stuff. It don't care where you go, where you been. Lost my mind in Carolina, lost myself along the way. Don't feel sorry for me, darling. That's the reason why I'm standing here today. Well, it took me some time to finally realize what I'd found out there on that sand. I tried to make it all make sense. I think too much, I always did, but there's just some things we'll never understand. Lost my mind in Carolina, lost myself along the way. Don't feel sorry for me, darling. That's the reason why I'm standing here today. That's the reason why I'm standing here today. All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason Eady.